All right. Form constant 5. And it's the same day as form constant 4, and it's gonna be big time. So I want to start with a question. If
Yeah.
you are if you are a human being and you're you lose your sense of sight, you lose your sense of touch, you lose your sense of smell, you lose your sense of hearing, I would say you are conscious. What what is different from that and not existing at all?
Well, you could still think. So you'd be, I mean, I think it might get a little weird inside your head at that point, but you'd still be thinking.
And so let's imagine you you
I think you'd just be like constantly tripping all day long because you have like no other way to like connect to reality, so you'd just be like hallucinating.
right. Right. And so let's take away your need for sustenance. Let's say you can exist. And let's also say you have never learned anything about the world or talked to anyone like you don't know language, you don't know any kind of that kind of thing. What are you? Are you conscious? What is that?
I don't know. I mean, I would say you're conscious. I just think that like yeah, I mean, you'd be like the consciousness of a rock with thoughts, which is weird, but
Do you think do you think that is different from not existing? Do you think you would have a different experience than you know right after you die or before being born?
yeah, I think so because I think it's some kind of experience. Like you were talking about last time, like you could be like a table, and that's an experience, but it's just not as like rich of an experience. And there's, and I don't know, like you, like maybe you feel when people are eating on you, and that feels good or something like that. Like it would be different, but it would still be something.
Yeah, I guess so. And what if you I mean, I don't know. It's weird to me because it seems like the every part of consciousness is experience. Like it seems like consciousness arises from having senses and being able to think on the things you're sensing.
Um, yeah, I guess so. But I mean, like everyone says that when you're born, you have your personality, and you're like you are who you are, and all all your kids are different. Like that's what parents say.
I don't think I mean that's is I mean, huh. So
And like they
parents are
have their proclivities, and and it's like you can't always make them do exactly what you want.
I've never really talked to a child or a parent, I mean, about their child in that way. It seems to me like you it seems to me that they're like blank slates until they can start speaking and start interacting. And
I don't think so.
you really don't think so? Like, I mean, infants are not they're not having
Yeah.
affinity for things. They just consume.
Yeah, true. Well, they don't. It's almost like they don't. They're still experiencing things, so they don't even like know. They don't have affinity because they like are everything's new.
I
So
mean,
like but then they develop taste. I mean, the taste has to do with you. I think like what makes you you. Can't you remember like being a very small child and also like thinking about the world and like having the same personality and the same like perspective that you do now?
I think that's definitely misremembering things, but I don't remember being a very small child. Like I remember being 5.
You don't remember anything before that?
No. I maybe being told things, but I don't remember making a choice as a young person. I don't think I did. I don't th- I think like I don't no, I don't think so. No, you have memories of being a young child, a toddler.
Yeah. Yeah, I can remember being like 3 to 4-ish
I think
and like walking
like
around my environment and like looking at things and like
hmm.
and I don't know, having like a similar like feeling the same way that I if I'm like in a new place and I'm just like walking around and no one's around me, I'm just like looking at shit like I it's like the same thing. Like I'm having
Yeah,
like
but you're
similar
still
thoughts or
like
like similar
consuming.
feelings.
Like just being a vessel for experience doesn't mean you have a personality.
Um yeah, I well it's just like an experience that I remember having that experience and also like um filtering it through the same like quote unquote personality that I have now.
I mean, I think that's gotta be just you like projecting your current personality onto being a child. To me, like an infant is a blank slate, and then by the time they can communicate, they've already consumed so many things to have all these like mental traps that they fall into, whether they be good or bad.
I mean, I don't know. I think that's really interesting, but I mean, I think because that's like NPC talk. Like you're saying, like everyone's an NPC.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
That's what it makes me feel, and
I mean,
I
I
guess
think
I
I mean like a baby is like a dog. It just can learn more.
yeah. But even dogs have personalities too. Like I think everyone has. I mean, I personally believe in like souls. I think people like have a like a driver of the ship. You know, like if there's like kids can be like introverted and they just stay introverted, like that's kind of their personality, or they can be the opposite. And you can definitely tell that. And people they grow up and they have like the same personality.
Yeah. I guess that's the argument of nature versus nurture. I
Yeah.
I feel like I mean, I think a lot of it is nurture. But I guess yeah, like introversion, that kind of thing definitely could be nature. But I don't
I
know.
think it's a both. I think it's both.
But I think either way, you don't have the tools to describe anything until you're later in life. So, I mean, it seems like being like deaf, blind, having no sense of touch or taste or smell, and having no memory, it seems like that would be the same level of consciousness as not existing at all. And I don't know, I feel like that's kind of an argument for the afterlife.
Why is it for the afterlife? What about before life?
Or yeah, an argument for before life, sure.
But you're saying that you're not even existing at all. It's like there's no existence and then you're alive and then it's like you slowly exist more as you like consume more data from your environment and process it. And
I
then you
think there's
die
like
and then
this
you're not
spark
there.
of consciousness. I mean, we were talking about this in the last episode, like you actually I don't know what I was gonna say. I think there's this spark of consciousness that like gets put into these vessels of experience, and that's how you develop your personality and all those kind of things. And I think maybe like all the nature things are just from genes and gene encoding and some kind of weird developmental process there. But
Yeah.
like your spark of consciousness that gets put into this experiential vessel of an infant and gets developed throughout your life, all the experience goes away, and you're just the spark of consciousness again, and maybe you integrate into this big system of consciousness or something like that. But like I feel like the whole like having no senses thing makes me feel like like it can't just be lights out once you're dead, you know?
Um I don't I'm trying to understand what you mean. But But yeah, I think the idea that we're all vessels for a soul to like come in. I think it's all just like way more complicated than we could probably like ever understand. So it's like weird to talk about because I think like I'm going to be wrong no matter what I say, but I think it's like all intertwined. So like DNA ties into it because you have a connection with like your whole family, and they say like traits pass down bloodlines, and the fact that like alcoholism is genetic, but it's also like such a cultural thing, but it's also like you know, like a chemical reaction and like the way that your brain processes dopamine or serotonin from alcohol, and like all, but also it affects trauma. Like it can like pass down trauma through alcoholism through your bloodline, which is like culturally passed down from your grandfather to your father to you because they were all alcoholics, and it's like all connected in these weird ways. um and then at the same time you're like a soul coming into the body, and you're choosing your experience beforehand, so you're like choosing that I want to be the son of like a family of alcoholics, and that's basically just going to like give me all the hardship so that I can like you know become like grow stronger from it. If I do make it out of that, I'm going to be like you know a very high functioning version of myself because I've like struggled.
Yeah, I guess that's true. What's that damn astronaut physicist guy
Oh
who's
shit.
who's
John
on the
Campbell. Some
perhaps? Yeah, he was talking about how he like can meditate to the point that he can talk to these entities before they're entering like a fetus or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, right.
That's
That's some
that's
s- that's some deep spiritual stuff for you. Have you ever seen? There's a crazy movie. I think it's called Enter the Void, and it's like based. It's like references the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and it's about like souls coming into bodies, and and it shows like souls like looking in on their parents having sex, and then like entering in the body, and then like being born 9 months later.
no, I have not seen that.
It's crazy, but that is like definitely a common like thought in like in a lot of cultures, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I read this book, Lincoln in the Bardo, for school. Um, and the Bardo is like the Buddhist idea of like the passing, the intermediate place where like the souls of past people who are like hanging on to whatever they're hanging on to. Um, and they like I
Like
mean
purgatory.
it's like purgatory in the ghost way where it's like, these ghosts have an attachment to something and it has to be like the archetype of like having to solve the or like resolve the ghost conflict so they can pass
They can
on.
pass on. Yeah.
And a lot of it was just people or these people like not accepting that they were dead and going through all these mental traps of being like like I'm just very sick and I'm gonna recover soon, or I didn't my partner didn't kill themselves and then I killed them and then I killed myself or whatever. Like that's like an example. Sorry to be grim, but like
Yeah.
that's what happened in the book. And it's just really interesting, and there's all this death day imagery, and it's like that idea is comes in ghost stories, it comes in all that stuff. And this whole class I took was actually like based on like studying ghost stories and folk tradition, and basically my teacher's thesis was like ghost stories above everything else, they comfort us in like this idea that there are other forces and we aren't alone in that way. So that was pretty cool, pretty interesting stuff. I think
Yeah.
the Bardo is, I think, like a Buddhist thing, so kind of relevant to what we're talking about.
Yeah. Um, I mean, said purgatory because it's basically like I think Catholics think of purgatory, right? Which is like it's the same idea.
I mean, the idea of purgatory, I guess it's similar, um, but it's more like like payment for your sins and like having like the thing you like you go to Judgment Day, you get your heart plucked and read or whatever, and they weigh it on the scale. I think that's an
Yes.
Egyptian thing, but
Yeah.
you get your sentence, and you have to sit and think and be with what's going on. And I mean, I think that would conflict with the like the idea of like reincarnation. I mean, obviously because it's a Christian idea, but also, like the it would conflict because you live your life, you have your issues, you get your heart weighed, and
And then what do you do about it once you realize that your heart is too heavy to enter in the kingdom of heaven? Then what's your next move? It's like you have to do something about it, right? To like fix it.
I mean, I think for purgatory it's just some bullshit, like you sit for years and years.
You just like say sorry and like pray for
Yeah, you probably
a million
pray.
years.
You The state after death for the purification of souls before they can enter heaven. Final cleansing process. Um, some describe it as a state of suffering, one mitigated by joy of moving closer to God. Suffering is not punishment, but a painful and joyful process of purification. I mean, it seems like, it seems like the same thing as having lived a life not in touch with others, and not you know understanding that this isn't everything. I think a lot of Christianity does is kind of just a cop out for living in the natural world that we live in, and trying to tangibly improve it. But I also think it's like the purgatory thing and like going to hell are good catalysts for living more of a good life. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, so like the New Agers would say, like you do all that stuff and then you just have another life, which is the same thing that like to like fix it to because you have to experience the thing that you or that's what they say too sometimes is that like if you do something bad, you might have another life where that same thing gets done onto you just so you can experience that. It's like you created that karma, so you have that debt to pay. Like you did it to someone else, well now you can do whatever you want, you have free will, but you're gonna have to live a life where that happens to you. You have to kind of play the victim role too. You have to play all the roles in the play, quote unquote. And then once you understand it, then you're like, there's like tests that you're given, and if you pass your test and like show that you're have like learned those lessons, experienced everything there is to know, then you can like go on to that heaven, whatever that might be, which is probably just like a higher dimensional plane where there's less suffering, or it's just I don't know, like the next evolution of your soul.
Yeah. Have you seen the Midnight Gospel?
Yes, I was. Oh my God, I was about to say that because there's something about there's a one of them where he weighs
The
his heart
Soul
and he's like trying to
Prison.
figure it out. Yeah, that one's so good.
That episode is so beautiful.
Yeah,
And it's like the soul bird, and oh my god, I love the imagery in that, and how they just he the that prisoner is just like, he doesn't even have his tongue or whatever, and
yeah.
he's just suffering, and you see him go like through this repetition of having his heart be weighed, and like
It
just
gets like
like
a little bit better every time he finally makes it right.
I don't know if that happens, actually. I don't remember, but he's just like, um there's like this cosmic disappointment that's there, and it's all like, it's so spiritual and scary and really awesome. That is such a good show.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree.
So yeah, I don't know.
But
That's
yeah,
pretty cool to
but
think about.
maybe yeah, I mean maybe all this is us just like trying to assign meaning. Like it's just one of those things that humans just do, and it's just a way to like rationalize good versus evil because it's some. I mean that's like something we feel
Yeah,
definitely.
to rationalize morality in some kind of way.
Yeah, and so all this like mythology around it is like literally just a creation of our minds to like help us cope with whatever the cold reality that there's like nothing else, and that's really just like our creation.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's possibly nothing else, just because of like how consciousness is. I don't know that there's like a higher power God that's like overlooking us, but I do think there has to be some kind of other plane of existence just because of like physics, like how there's laws in our universe and we're like, okay, nothing can go faster than the speed of light. That seems, why?
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. But yeah, Alex O'Connor, that philosopher British guy, he does a lot of videos where he just like has a moral statement and then dissects it and can create like a like a paradox of sorts where it's like, oh, you're walking by a drowning kid, but it's gonna ruin your shoes if you get in the water. Of course, you're gonna save the kid, and then he'll like, you know, it's like if you could, he'd be like, if you could donate, if you could never go out again, and you could like commit all your time to saving these kids, would you do that? And like, the answer at some point would be no. Like as it gets more serious, even though it is like morally we feel as if we should save other things. But I think maybe morals are like a natural selective uh idea that we've come to,
Yeah.
because it
Just to
makes
help
our
us
species
survive.
more, yeah, exactly, yeah. So I don't know, it's interesting. A lot of Vsauce and Alex O'Connor for me.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to look those guys up. But I think, I mean, like, I want to think that there's more because there's the way that like, there's a lot of like harmonies that are pretty crazy that I guess it's almost like it just feels poetic. And so there's like sort of a, it's like you want to believe that there's like more behind the scenes because there's so much like mystery and harmony within like nature, whether you're thinking like scientifically or the vastness of space and like fractals. And it just seems like there's some kind of design that's like way more complex than we could ever create ourselves. Like it just seems like there's more layers to all this. And that's kind of, I guess, why I always circle back to um, that it's more than just evolutionary tricks that our minds are playing for it, like on us. But that's just me. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I think
I
there
feel like
can be
that's
both. Sorry, go ahead.
no. I'm interested why there could be both. It's like different for everyone.
Well, I think like, sorry, I just took a big old bite of a delicious brownie.
Ooh, I'm jealous.
Mm. Mm-mm. I think there can be both. Like, there can be this spiritual second place. There can be this like this God sort of experience, or this extra dimensional sort of experience. But I think like our our human like understanding of it is mostly wrong. Like I think all these religions and things are just attempts at describing experience and like describing why we have morals or what morals we should have, and then also giving certain people power and other people not, giving taking power away from them. But that's a whole different thing. I think there is like this
Yeah.
the spiritual like enlightenment or fifth dimension, or this kind of fading away of our reality. But I don't think like I think intelligent design and the idea that God exists, because how could our universe exist without being intelligently designed, is just a human um like breakdown of something that's a lot more than that.
Yeah. It's just like the harmony of like an ecosystem of like the CO2 and the oxygen and the way that plants and animals are like sharing, they're like recycling CO2 and like temperature is just perfect to create life and to grow food that we eat, and like it seems like a created world, but maybe that's just because we're evolved so perfectly to be here. I mean, there's
Yeah,
obviously
I
the
think
other end of
it
that.
seems like, well, my counter argument would be like, the idea of universal natural selection, where our universe only exists because it was naturally it could exist. Like how birds evolved to have different beaks so they can eat different things. Our universe evolved from other universes that didn't form intelligent life, and so this is the only thing that could be because it is. And yeah, it's like a dumb philosophical way of thinking about it, but we only can have these questions because we do exist, because our
Yeah,
universe was naturally selected to get to the place that it is?
right. Like yeah, like it's like a such a low chance that it happened, but the fact that it did happen, just like now we have to question it.
Hmm.
Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yes, to some extent, but also like the like to say, oh, it's so astounding that all the things lined up for us to exist in the way that we did. The fact that humans have only existed for, I don't know what, hundreds of thousands of years, millions of years, I have no idea, but the universe has existed for hundreds of billions. It's like the the um environment that allowed for it is the only environment that would allow for it. So to say to say we to think our universe is very specific in a way that allows us to exist is is proof of an intelligent higher design being. I think is overlooking the fact that we would only exist because of the conditions that bring us here. And like the whole like multidimensional thing of like these alternate realities where people don't exist, or the universe crashes milliseconds after being made and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like we really don't know to any degree. You know what I mean?
I think I think in my eyes it's almost like more logical to think that like it was built to like in to some degree by intelligent life, because to me it's like that's what we would do if we could. I think like creating of worlds, which is like a biblical, it's like biblical language right there, is like something that we aspire to do. Like I feel like every living being aspires to evolve enough so they can create their own worlds. And what would you, and if you could make the best world possible, you'd make it like you'd include things like a perfect harmony between the plant life and the animal life, and it circulates the oxygen, and this it's this far away from the sun, so it's perfect temperature. Like, and then you create a person, if you could, through genetic engineering or whatever, that's like super advanced, the same way that we like create dogs. Maybe you could think of it like that. Like you create a person, then put him on the perfect world you created. I mean, that's like that's a cool day job. You just like creating worlds. Like that seems like a divine thing that an intelligent life would do if they could. And I think because there's such a low probability chance that like life would evolve on this perfect planet, that I think it's almost high. It could, like, I don't know, I'm not a math guy, but like probability almost feels higher to me that like um intelligent life would do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like if
As
we,
opposed to it just naturally happening.
yeah, because like if we're intelligent life and we're getting more intelligent all the time, so like
I mean, yeah,
it's not far
I
fetched to think
do
there's more out there, and we like we're creating each other.
I do see what okay. So I mean, that's kind of like simulation theory, though, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, like yeah, you could it could tie into it because you could say that we are a simulation created by someone else. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so, but I think yeah, I think maybe just I'm thinking about it that way because there's no way else to think of, like it's hard for me to consider how one would go about building a planet and adding the life forms and like you know what I mean, to like create the world and like the way that God quote unquote might have done it, or an intelligent being. Like I don't know how that I don't know how that works. So like yeah, maybe they create some kind of a simulation. Because then you think about dimensions. If they're operating at a higher dimension, for them to create a 3D simulation is like is very logical because like we operate in a 3D with like a time dimension and we create 2D simulations all the time. It's called video games.
Yeah.
So like yeah,
I
so
think
that
you're
kind of still works.
confusing like the third dimension with time because we can move in three dimensions without
No, I
time.
mean
Time is arguably the fourth dimension.
yeah, that's what I meant. Like if like so if we're in a 3/4D world and we
Yeah.
create another world, but it's in the 2D world because that's what we can like easily construct because just I don't know, it just like works in levels like that or whatever. So like is there like a 7D beings that created us
Yeah.
and
That
we are their
is
simulation?
I mean, I think that is probably the case somehow, or I don't know if we're their simulation though. It seems like we're just kind of that level of experience, but on a much less complex, maybe. But this is like what
Ye
I was talking about the
Isn't that the
Tralfamador.
same thing though?
What do you mean?
Like if isn't that the same thing? You're saying the same thing as like we are their simulation. That's kind of what I'm saying. I'm trying to like parallel the two of like yeah, that is what a simulation is like a lower dimensional version that's a creation from a higher dimension.
Yes,
Like are we on the same page there?
I guess so. But I also think like if yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Could we create true one or two dimensional beings though?
Well, yeah, I mean we have AI and that's pretty much if you think of a circuit board, that's all 2D. Like I feel like we've created it out of the 2D world. Maybe I'm off here. Maybe I'm getting too philosophical as far as like 2D, but
I think you're
AI to
getting
me seems like
too AI intrinsic. I don't think AI is anything related really. AI really at the end of the day is just like parroting things that we've already created in a very efficient and scary way.
yeah, I
I
mean
don't think
that's the
it
argument is that it has its own sentience and therefore a life.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think there's any way of figuring that out though. It's yeah, it's that's God, that's scary. Don't even get me started.
That's true. Yeah. So if you put AI aside, I think my point is just like the fact that we make things as powerful as we can. So even if we can't make life, yeah, like we may not be able to do that, but like maybe in 100 years we could. Like maybe we figure it out. Maybe we crack the code. Maybe we figure out what. Maybe it's like embedded in quantum theory. Like we found a way to like put souls, quote unquote, into our own creation.
I mean,
Like maybe it's just it's
we can
technology. You know
clone.
what I mean?
We can clone things.
Right.
So that is creating life. I'm sure there's a way to like just write an entire genetic code that would bring about sentience. The issue is it has to be human sentience because we don't know anything else except like lower levels of it, like making a sheep or whatever. So it depends on I don't know. I think we have the capability of synthetically creating life, but I don't think we have the capability of uh like I guess we do because of like VR and shit. Like you could realistically make a simulation. Have you seen the Rick and Morty episode where Rick creates like a car battery that just runs on
Yes.
aliens like living in a little box?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. I like that concept. But I don't know. I think the like any higher power is just too complex to even begin to describe. But we talked about the Tralfamadorians or whatever they're called from Slaughterhouse Five,
Yeah.
the fourth dimensional aliens.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the most interesting and like accurate uh uh rendition of a godlike creature that I could understand because it's also like there's infinite dimensions, so I think the enlightenment would just be no longer experiencing from the dimensional standpoint, like I don't
Yeah,
know. Something like that.
yeah. And time too. Like what is it like? Because if you think about if we don't experience time, then maybe that sort of like frees up. I don't know. Maybe that allows you to like travel to other dimensions because you're not because you don't worry about time. Does that make sense? Like right now, if we wanted to travel anywhere, we have to worry about time. But
I mean, yeah, I guess so. So like 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 ants on a paper, and they think the only way to get from point A to point B is a straight line, but they don't know about the wormhole of folding the paper into itself.
yeah,
That would be kind of like that would be time travel for us, I think. And so I don't know what that I guess that
or it's
would
like teleporting
yeah, teleporting. Yeah, I guess you could
because like
teleport
time
with
doesn't
time
even matter.
travel. Yes, yeah, yes. But then you'd experience life like a mountain range that already exists and all exists. So then there's no reason to travel to anything or do anything because it is already, like it is a constant at that point. And that's what happens with those aliens, which is I,
What?
I
Yeah,
don't know,
what
it's
happened
very
with them?
complex. It's hard to understand.
So what happened with those aliens? Can you summarize that for people who haven't heard the last episode? They're
Um
fourth dimensional beings, and they're featured in a Kurt Vonnegut book. And
yes.
they, what
And
do they
they
say?
they pick up Billy, I think, and they say they experience time in this fourth dimension, and what that looks like to them is their whole experience is kind of like a mountain range, and there's war and sadness and there's high times and all of that, and they experience it
Yeah,
all and can see it all, and basically
but
they're
it just
just like
passes
it is,
by
and
them.
it's what exists. And if we were to experience that, it would kind of take the meaning away from everything that's here, and there would be something else, but I don't know what it would be. And for them,
Yeah,
it was putting Billy and some beautiful model in a zoo and watching them have sex and live.
damn. Yeah, they so like they have other priorities. Yeah, I mean it's like something we can't really imagine, but I mean that's what like a world builder would do. I'm just kind of circling it back to world building. Like that's if you'd have like this kind of power of like multidimensional and you can
Yeah, I guess you
observe
would.
generations and generations. Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right. This is a lot of thought provoking conversation.
Yeah, it reminds me of a tangent here. They say that there's like a legend of the Mayans, and so we know they call them like the masters of time because they were just really keen on timing things, and they had like the giant calendar that calculated like days and months and years, and the moon was factored into, and all the planets, and it was like a crazy calendar
Yeah,
and they had, like the long counts and all that. So like they were just really into it. Well, apparently like they spiritually advanced so far that they like transcended off this plane and now they're like time they're like keepers of the time
like
and like
time
spiritual people
beings.
will talk. Yeah, and they just like they've been given that like I don't know, that responsibility in the universe among like world creators of like the keepers of the time.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
it's a legend of the Mayans. But yeah, that's what they say about the Mayans is that they just vanished.
That's
Like,
so
and
cool.
I'm not exactly sure why they have that evidence, but they just like disappeared one day. But they had like a vast empire and all that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um,
Pretty interesting.
that yeah,
But yeah,
this
sorry, that was a
is
tangent.
no, that's good. I mean, I've kind of exhausted all the things I wanted to talk about. Oh,
Yeah,
how do I? Oh, I've lost the phone call. I can't even click on it or anything. But yeah. I mean, I think that's a good ending. Good good wrap up. I think we had some good convo.
yeah, for sure.
I hope our
All right.
loyal two viewers have a lot to say about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, both of you guys, I hope you enjoy this
Do we have
and
any
share it to your
subscribers
friends.
yet?
I don't think so.
All right, maybe we'll get one. That would be cool.
Maybe, yeah, maybe we'll get one. It's gonna be our first goal. It's gonna be our target.
Oh, I just clicked on. Oh, we have 2 subscribers. Look at that.
Oh, sick. What are the views at?
We got 6 views, 3 views, no views.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's what it's all about, boy. But yeah,
We're getting
consistency.
there.
We're making it through. We're having a good time. Um,
Yeah.
I I'm gonna try. So I'll upload. Okay, hold on. All right, bye. All right, bye. Goodbye. Form constant.
Goodbye. Thanks for coming.